Hello there. We are live again with Living Charmed. And this is my sister Val, my co-host. I am Shar. I am
Hello.
the Shar in Living Charmed. So we are back again live for another episode of Living Charmed. This is, I think, our fifth time on. So we're happy to be here. Val, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Good,
I didn't sleep very well last night, but I'm okay.
You're here. You're
Yeah.
here. You're a body that's here, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just kind of you have a commitment. We talked about commitments, and so you just kind of show up, and that's what life's all about, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So today is under the theme of relationship rich, and the topic is going to be about relationship with self. So esteem alignment, and it's a lot of what I deal with within my Living Charmed coaching practice. And as you all know, CHARMED is an acronym. And just for the sake of reminding everybody what that is, I'm going to just quickly go through that quickly because it's a mouthful. But it's comfortably confident, harmonious, activated, manifested. Relationship rich. Missed one, the one that we're doing today, actually. So relationship rich, manifested, ever evolving, and destiny by design. So that is kind of the pillars in my practice, and it's also kind of a way of being. It just really works within the coaching that I do, which is really a lot of it is esteem alignment, working with self-value and the relationship that you have with yourself, and resetting yourself, right? So it just really all fits together, and as time goes on, you'll see that. So today we'll just get right into it because we do have a topic. And is there anything you wanted to add before we start, Val?
No, I'm good.
You're good to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm just going to sit back and listen to what you have to say. Your expertise.
Oh yeah, expertise, yay. Okay, so first of all, what is esteem alignment, right? It's that sweet spot, that comfortable confidence, the first C in Living Charms. So what that is, it's, you know what, think of Goldilocks. Think of the Goldilocks thing, right? It's not too high, not too low, just right. Right. And they both, if it's out of whack, you're just not well balanced. You're not comfortably confident. It's just out of alignment. Right. So if it's too low, you're undervaluing yourself. Right. If it's set too high, you're overcompensating. It still comes from insecurity. Right. And by the way, the latter of the two, the set too high, is a very unattractive quality. A lot of people think, if I'm really confident and I'm just like whatever, and I just, just basically force yourself into into being confident, it stinks, right? People can smell that stuff. Vanity is not an attractive quality. It's good to value yourself by all means, but when it comes off over, it's just not a good quality at all either. So you want that sweet spot, right? And so why is it important to have a great relationship with yourself? And quite simply, it's to have the life and relationships that you desire so that you have flow and harmony in your life, right? That's kind of the ultimate goal that we all really have at the end of the day, right? You want a lot of things, but really the main motivators is happiness, joy, peace, feeling love, all kinds of happy emotions, right? That's what we all want in our lives, right? Charmed, right? Comfortably confident, harmonious, activated, relationship rich, manifested, ever evolving. You always want to be growing, and a destiny. We all have a destiny, and we can design it. So how do I know that this is an effective approach, right, to how I'm coaching my clients? For one thing, my own life, right? I'm a good example of the things that I coach. So I've really had to work on a lot of things. I've had to, go through a lot of things and issues, all kinds of things. Everything that I deal with in my coaching practice, I don't, if I can't relate to it, I will move you to somebody else. So everything that I talk about here is trust me, I've been there, done it, still doing it because I'm ever evolving as well, right? I love learning. I love growing. It's the best part of this life is that we get to do, we're humans, we get to choose our direction and our paths, right? So it might as well be good. It might as well be a good path, right? So more importantly though, is the experience I've had with working with others. I've learned a lot through working with clients over the last 7 years. I know what works, I know what doesn't work, you know, and you, as you're doing this, and a lot of people, coaches and therapists out there will know, the ones that really care, right, will know that when you're working with somebody, they will teach you a lot too, right? You learn through every client, and it's great. It's a great experience. It's a great relationship because it's definitely a win-win, and it's definitely a win for the client because it's a one-sided one. My agenda is my client. So so that being said, the proof is how it works out for them. It always works out for them. So you know, one of the things that I bring up a lot, and one of the shows I'll go into this, the difference between a coach and a therapist. And one of them is I don't have to follow a textbook, so to speak, right? I have a ton of training. Yes, I'm fully certified. I've got all kinds of materials I can go back on. Mostly I go from life experiences. I'm learning every day. I online, I'm always like taking in different things, and I have many fabulous teachers online that I follow. My clients, again, that's another one. So that being said, yeah, I don't have to follow the textbook sort of things that therapists and social workers and people that have gone to school for, right? I get to kind of do it a little differently. So it's very effective. There is a book I check in with though. So, you know, I want to always make sure that I'm not leading anybody astray. I want to make sure that it's I'm going to say spiritually and biblically aligned, because if I go to that, then I'm going to that higher authority, right? So I do check in with a book, right? And I want to make sure that I'm not leading anybody down the wrong path. And you know, the thing is the Bible can be a difficult book, especially for people that aren't spiritually aligned and don't have a connection or a relationship with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, right? So it can be difficult, but the thing is if you really get to know some of the things, and even taken out of context, some of the stuff in that book, it's just a lot of common sense. There's power in it. A book that was written 2,000 years ago is very valid today. So that's just a quick blip about the proof of how I know that this approach really works. And, you know, so experiential and all that stuff. So before I get into, so I'm going to probably touch on 3 things today on how you know your esteem is out of alignment, right? And only 3. There's so many ways, but I only have time for 3 today. But before I do that, I just want to touch on some of the things that knock us out of alignment, right? And I'm going to go into the causes at the end, because we can be aligned, but there's certain things in life and our relationships that will knock us out of alignment. That's why it's so important to be able to reset, be self-aware, and always be evolving, right? So you want to be that authentically, just you, authentically you, so that value, you're just always building value within. So I'm going to get into 3 of them. That one of the ways that you know that your esteem may be out of alignment is if you have a judgmental spirit, right? If you're constantly judging other people in a negative way, right? You know, you're finding fault, it's negative, you're like, ugh, whatever, and always constantly like just not happy with others and want them to be a certain way in your life and blah, 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 and they're just not adding up. I mean, you know, again, you have to take it for how it's being said. There's always going to be exceptions to every rule. But if you're constantly judging somebody else in a negative way, annoyed, irritated with other people regularly, that's a really good sign that your esteem is out of alignment, right? If you find yourself being jealous of other people and are comparing yourself to others a lot, regularly. Again, that might be a good sign that you need to do some self-work and figure these things out, right? You might be, there's something out of alignment there. If you can't be happy for others, and this should be a no-brainer, right? But a lot of people are unaware that their esteem is out of alignment. It's actually themselves. It's something in themselves that's causing this, right? And in other shows, I'm going to go way deeper into some of these subjects, but I'm just touching on these three today. It's just three of the many symptoms that tells you that you are out of alignment, right? Your esteem is out of alignment, right? So yeah, so if you're feeling bitter on a constant, regular basis about other people and always comparing yourself to them, that's just another symptom, right? Like, it's just another way to let you know that, oh my gosh, my esteem might be very much out of alignment, right? Three, another one is feeling like everybody is against you, feeling like the world is picking on you, that you're not ever getting a fair shake and things are never going your way and blah, blah, never, right? That there's the good, that's the sign right there, when no, it's just never going my way, blah, blah, blah. So you're feeling judged all the time, right? It's kind of, it goes along with that judgmental spirit, right? You're feeling like you're being judged by other people all the time. You're feeling very exposed all the time. So obviously that's kind of an obvious sign of being out of alignment, right? So it's three things I wanted to touch on today, three of the symptoms that lets you know that you're out of alignment. There's a ton more, and we will be going into them as the show goes on, right? So, I mean, it is important to have an esteem that is in alignment, because when you are well balanced and you feel and you can value yourself, you are able to value the people in your lives. Happy people, healthy people do not judge others harshly. They are not comparing themselves to others all the time. They know, they just have this good sense of self-value. They are comfortable in their own skin, right? So, and it's a very valuable place to be. So how do we counter that, right? So basically, when you feel those feelings arise, and when you're feeling negative towards somebody, and you're feeling like, oh my God, like that person's like blah, 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 right? It's like, she thinks she's so great, or he thinks he's so great, or they have blah, 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 right? When you feel that coming on, and it's almost a hatred that arises inside you, right? You need to stop yourself. You need to recognize what's going on. Then you need to acknowledge it. When you recognize that in yourself, do not hate on yourself. You're just taking a logical look and going, oh, why am I doing that? What's going on? Right? You want to acknowledge it. And then you want to take some steps to correct it, which we will go into later in some of these shows and stuff, right? But right now, this is just kind of starting to be more self-aware with where your esteem is, right? Where you are, where your self-value lies, right? It's really important to do this, because when you do this, when that part of you is really well balanced, the rest of your life and relationships become balanced, right? It just happens. It just falls into alignment. Everything kind of falls into balance. Does that mean that you're never going to have any problems or come across anything that comes up? Absolutely not. This life, it's coming at us all the time, from every area, all the time, right? So that's why it's so important to get in that well-balanced place with yourself, have that great relationship with yourself, so that you know that when you're in these situations that come at you, that you can rely on yourself. You can trust yourself that you can get through this. There's going to be times where you have to back away, process, and come back at it. This takes work. It takes some work and practice. But the first step is recognizing that you may need to change a few things. Knowing that your esteem is out of alignment. If you need to go work with somebody, get with a good coach, therapist, whatever you think you need, and work with them. Find somebody you trust that you can work with, by all means. You can work on this yourself too, right? The first step is recognizing that, oh my gosh, my esteem is out of alignment. And by the way, there are many, many people that are out of alignment because they don't take the time to what's the word? I'm looking for a good word here, but to develop the relationship with yourself first. We're constantly, thinking about the relationships with others, how that we're offended, how what we can do, blah, blah, blah. But we don't really take the time to develop the relationship with ourselves first. And if we don't do that, how can we possibly be good to anybody else? So, again, when these scenarios come up, when you feel yourself triggered and it's like, oh, I'm just not liking this person, blah, blah, blah. Every scenario that comes up like that is an opportunity to check yourself, right? To say, okay, what's going on here, right? Why am I feeling this way? And this is especially true if it happens on a regular basis. It's just helping you bounce back, right? It just helps you get back to where you need to be. Reset yourself. And by the way, when I say reset yourself, that means that you're resetting better, right? To the authentic you, resetting yourself back to the you were meant to be, not to who necessarily you were before, but to your better self always, right? That's what the reset is. So let's pretend now that you are in this great place, whatever, like, and you are well balanced, right? There are some causes that will knock us out of alignment, and that's when a lot of times what prompts people to come and see a therapist or a coach, or sorry, go to see a therapist and come and see a coach, right? There's big differences there. So some of the things are like a breakup or divorce. That's one of the very number one reasons that will knock us out of alignment. It's always important to really do some self-work after a breakup or a divorce, right? Any kind of this demise of any relationship, really, a best friend, any kind of a relationship, right? That goes south, right? You have to take your accountability there too, right? You really, really want to know your part in it, because that's the most important part, because that's the part you can control. Job loss, that's another one. That's another big one, right? That can knock us out of alignment. Even hormones for women, hormones can really mess with us. That's a whole other, probably 10,000 shows, but life transition, a move, a job, a new relationship, all that stuff can it distracts us, right? It distracts us from who we are, being self-aware. Strife in one or more of our relationships, very, very distractive when we're trying to stay balanced and in a good place of esteem alignment, right? Loss of a loved one. And yes, that very much includes, in some cases, our furry loved ones, right? So at no reason at all. No reason at all. You don't even know. You're just stuck. There's something going on, right? There's obviously something going on. There's an unrest inside. And it's like, that's a really good clue that you need to start looking within. So, if you're negative on a regular basis, negative Nelly, right? Nobody wants to be around that, right? So one of the goals and one of the ways to counter some of this is to take the focus off of yourself, right? Even though you feel and that you're in a dark place or whatever, or that you're, you feel these emotions, it's good to take the focus off of yourself and put it on others, actually. It's funny, even though you're working on yourself as you're helping others, right? So help somebody else that is in a bad place, right? In a world of darkness, you want to be the light, right? If you be the light, you become the light. So just, it's good. It's just a really good overall feeling, right? So I think I covered quite a bit today. So Val, do you have any thoughts that you want to add? Anything that comes to mind as I was speaking?
You just said, actually, you just said something that kind of got that I'm curious as to why I do this, and maybe this is why. My self-esteem can be a little iffy, and you had mentioned working on someone else before you can, put your focus on someone else. And I often used to think, why do I put my why do I, if someone has a bad day, or someone is having a moment where they feel stupid or something, I'm forever trying to trying to get their confidence back up. I always give them advice for the advice that I probably should take myself. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm working on someone else so that I can maybe hopefully take that advice myself, the things that I say, and maybe turn it back on me. But that kind of, I often thought that of myself. I often thought, well, I can actually tell someone, oh, you know what, it's okay. You're going to be okay. And everything's going to be great with you. And, but I can never do it myself. So, I think that's a good thing. Working on, someone else before I can work on myself. Um, you know, once I give that out to them, then maybe something will trigger inside me and I can actually think, okay, well, you know what, that advice was really good for that person. So maybe I should use that for myself. So that's kind of where with self-esteem, I find I give so I can give it out, but I can't take it myself, right? So
Well, what if you
um,
turned that around, Val, and recognized that you are an encourager? That's a gift. That
yeah.
so because here's the thing, like just like when we see the negative, right? We want to look at what we don't like necessarily in others and then we want to check ourselves and go, am I doing that? Right?
Hmm.
Because if we don't like it in others, why would we accept it in ourselves, right? That's why it's so important to be self-aware, right? So
Yeah.
if you're adding value to yourself, self-value, right? That's what it's all about, right? So Val, you are an encourager, so that's a gift.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
rather than I wish I could take this advice myself, right? Just embrace the fact that you've encouraged somebody. That's
Hmm.
the part that you want to take away, right? Because it feels good to make somebody else feel good. So
Yeah.
it makes you feel good, right? And
Hmm.
and the other thing that came up was I couldn't help but think of David in people that aren't familiar with um, biblical stories and stuff like that. So David, there's a part in there where it's like he encouraged himself, right? I encouraged myself in God, right? And in my confidence with that who God knows I am, because God, created us, he loves us, we're the apple of his eye, like everybody is his prized possession, right? So he encouraged himself. So yeah, so in encouraging others, when you feel yourself down, how are you going to encourage yourself? What would you say to somebody that's going through what you're going through in a negative
Hmm.
way, right?
Yeah.
Why are you so hard on yourself, but you're not hard on others?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the takeaway, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And
It's a
it.
gift, Bell. Encouraging others is a gift.
Hmm. Yeah.
And,
I
one of
actually,
your gifts.
yeah. And I do like to, I wear my heart on my sleeve and when people are down, um, and they're having a bad day, I know how it feels. So
Right,
I'm sympathetic, right?
right,
So I know what they're going through. And
right.
I hate it when people hurt. I can't stand it. So
Yeah,
because I don't like to hurt, so I
right,
can't stand it when someone else does. So I try and build them up, right? So
right.
that, yeah.
And that's good, Val, because you're taking the focus off of yourself, just like I said,
Mhm.
and you're being a light in somebody's darkness, right? We
Yeah.
want to be a light in this very dark world because there is a lot of darkness in this world. There's no
Mm.
question. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. This is a broken world, like you said the other day,
Yeah.
right? We don't have to be broken people. I love what you said in the first show, right? It was just really well said, and I'll be using it. Trust me. I'm going to be using it. So,
Yeah.
it definitely, there's so many things. And, I touched on 3 things today, but there are millions of ways it shows up, right?
Hmm.
So we can manifest, or we can manifest light. Pick one. Which one do you pick? Which
Yeah.
one's the better, right? The light.
Yeah. Which one do you go to? Yeah. Which one are you
Right.
going to be happier with? Yeah.
Right. It's much better to be a light in this world. And, if you can't be a light for yourself, then start being a light for somebody else and you will become a light for yourself. It just,
Hmm.
and I mean, again, we're just touching on this today. It's a big, big subject, but it's just a really good place to start because, starting with the relationship we have with ourselves, right? Um, I think we're just almost ready to close the show here. Is there anything you wanted to add today, Val?
No, I think that was very informative. I do believe that, again, I'm a work in progress. So,
We all are.
yeah. So, but I do use the tools that, I'm way better than I used to be. So, I'm a happier person. I love myself more today than I did, 20 years ago. I find myself more comfortable in my skin, so that's a good thing. Do I get down? Yes, I do. And that's just
Normal.
that's something that I have to, yeah, it is. And when I'm down, I do feel like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get out of this? But I just have to keep talking myself out of it, right? You have to keep thinking, okay, you got to be patient, right? So yeah, so that's where, yeah, no, everything is good. And no, you did a good job, Shar. And thank
Oh,
you so much for information. And
oh no, thank you. Thank you for being my co-host and my sister, as always. And you know what? I like what you said, Val, because you're like, I'm better than I was, right? And that's the goal every day, is to be a little bit better. We always want to be ever evolving, right? It's like, I truly believe we're here on this planet to grow and to learn
yeah,
and stuff. And that's what it's all about. And if we're going towards better, that's the best thing. That's the only thing we can do, right?
yeah.
So
Well, one of the things that I find that this right here, this doing right here, I never thought that I'd be able to do anything like this.
yeah,
Like,
it's hard,
and
isn't it,
I'm doing it. So
for you?
you have to actually get to the other side where you got to push through. So
That's right. That's right. Pushing through and doing something that's outside of your comfort zone is a very
mhm.
good way to
Feel the
face.
fear and do it anyways.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah.
Um, so that being said, I'm going to close us off if you're okay for me to do that.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
if you want to be a guest on our show, or you want to request a topic of any kind, or if you have some questions with something that you're dealing with in your life or relationship, please send those. And by the way, I'm going to be having this up on the screen eventually. Don't you worry. So send those to livingcharmed.live@gmail.com. It should be in the description of this show too, so if you need to find it there. If you're struggling in any area of your life or relationship, or you know somebody that is, have them contact me at livingcharm.ca. First consultation is always free. Sometimes it just helps just to talk to somebody. The other thing is if you would be so kind as to like, or comment, or especially subscribe to this show, so that we can reach more people that may need some of the messages that are going to be in this show, that would be fantastic. We'd love that. Love, love, love that. The next show, if my schedule permits, and I'm hoping that it does, it's going to be tomorrow. I may be running solo on that. I don't know if you can come and join me tomorrow, Val, at 2.
I'll have to check, but
Okay.
I'll try.
Okay, no worries, no worries. And it's just going to be an introduction to the spiritually connected, what that's going to be about. And they're going to be every second Sunday. So, yeah, I think that being said, we are good to sign off here. Have a great day, everybody. And I'll maybe see you tomorrow. And again, if you're looking for the show schedules, they are on livingcharm.ca too. So bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.